What's up, people? I want to talk about poverty and slavery today and how they evolved over time. Now, first, we got to start out with just talking about how slavery and all that got started. First, let's just do a brief little thing on that. First off, England went to Africa and found villages with kings and queens. And these kings and queens in Africa invaded other villages and imprisoned the people there and made them slaves to them. Now, when English people showed up on the shores of Africa, they sold these people to them. And they took these people that they sold to them for gold or wherever they sold it to them for, and they took them over to America and wherever else they were going. Now, after a while, they realized we could just go there and enslave the people that are selling us as slaves and take their slaves. Then we got double the workforce. And we don't got to give them anything. Then we can take their resources. Because Africa used to be filled with gold, diamonds, just everything that is considered of value today was found in Africa in large amounts. But once they took these people that they enslaved from Africa, which is crazy, one week you're selling people as slaves and next week you're a slave. What a crazy thing to think about. But when they came to Africa, they got these people, then they went to America. These same people that went to America were going there to find freedom from being oppressed by kings and queens. And what's the first thing that they do when they're free? They made other people their slaves, continuing the cycle of hatred and violence. Now, when these people were bought and sold in America, that started a whole brand new problem. And in order to understand what's happening in America today, you got to understand your history. And to understand history, you got to know what happened in history, right? So there was an experiment done by a man named Pavlov. The experiment was called Pavlov's dogs. He would take dogs and he would condition them to act a certain way. His most well-known experiment was when he took dogs and he shocked them when they ate food before they heard a bell. So just imagine someone gives you something to eat. Oh man, an animal is going to go automatically go to eat. But if every time an animal went to eat, you shocked it, the animal would eventually start to act violent when someone else messed with its food and fight each other for the things that it needed and put it in a hostile mindset. Now, this mindset and this conditioning was taken by the world once they found out about it and applied to places of the hood and places where people were poor. And in the long run, this ended up destroying large amounts of communities in America. You know, most people that hear about poverty think about the Philippines and stuff like that. I watch this one YouTuber called the Filipina P, and she talks a lot about how poverty in the Philippines is bad. And it is bad over there. People are very poor. Most time when people hear poverty, they don't think about America. But there are a lot of people poor in America too. And a lot of people that can't eat and they can't afford a job. They can't afford food, you know, are struggling. I'm one of them. I've been poor my whole life. You know, it's one of them things you don't really think about until you're actually going through it. And I was watching a video by Filipina Peter and it got me thinking about this topic and how it relates to America. Now, to understand all this stuff I'm talking about, we kind of got to go back a little bit. What was the main thing Americans did when they came here? Especially to slaves. After we enslaved people, we then turned our head onto the next group of people, which was the Native Americans. When they met the Native Americans, they were met peacefully. Native Americans were some of the most peaceful people in the world. But what did they do? They gave them blankets for smallpox. They purposely tried to poison their water and all sorts of stuff just to weaken that society. Another part of conditioning people to act a certain way. And I'm just saying, if someone came into your house and they started poisoning your water, making your people sick, what would you do? You would attack them. So then what did they do? Oh, these people are violent. We got to kill them. And no one stopped to think back then, oh, this is all a setup. They're trying to trick us into doing something. Now, once they got rid of the Native Americans they needed and they got the land, they started building up the country. They started making it bigger. They started making things a lot larger. We had cities. We had resources. And another group of people that no one ever talks about was Mexicans. Mexico used to stretch all the way up to Colorado. Most people don't even know that. When you're standing in Colorado, Texas, New Mexico, that all used to be California. That all was Mexico. We stole all that land from them. Then we put up a border and said, you can't live here. That's like someone coming to your neighborhood, putting up a fence in the middle of it and say, you can't come past this fence no more. But you've been living here your whole life. And they do that to people in the hood still to this day. But I digress. Like I said, I ain't trying to sit here and hate on white people. I'm not hating on anybody, because at the end of the day, there's only one race in the world. And that's human. The human race. Everything else is only skin deep. My skin color is only skin deep, and it's from evolution and us being in the sun all day. Because I don't care how white you are. If you were as pale as white paint and you worked out in the sun for 5 generations, your kids would eventually start to turn black. These are facts. That's how the life works. But like I said, most people don't even think about it like that. That's how I look at the world, because we all need each other. We're all people. We're all humans. So that's whenever you fill out an application, you ever wondered, or fill out a form for anything, they always ask, what race are you? What do you identify as? Black, white, Puerto Rican? And people just think they're asking that just so they can, oh, well, let's just try to find out where people are living. No, all that's done because of gentrification, which is the movement of poor people into an area. And then once you get those poor people there, what do? You take away their jobs. You take away the things they need to survive. Then you give them the things they don't need: drugs, alcohol. That's why every neighborhood you go to, every hood you go to, has a liquor store on the corner. You don't see Hollywood, where these rich people live, with liquor stores on every corner. It's only in the hood. Think that's on just pure coincidence? No. It's all done on purpose. And it's a cold fact of the way we live, And because of this fact today, black people still have violence in the hood, because black people during the civil rights movement were getting too rowdy. We were getting too rowdy. We were causing too much change. So what did they do? They started making up all these things to destroy the community. That's why there's cocaine and drugs and all this other stuff in the hood, because the government put it there so they could destroy these communities. So once the community is destroyed, you can go through, oh, we need to get rid of all these people here committing crimes. It's high crime rate here. You get rid of all those people, you can clear out that land for half the price and then build condos there. Then what's the next step in gentrification? Let's put rich people in these houses. Crazy trap, right? And people wonder why they call it the trap house. Because you're in a trap. Quite literally, you're getting caught in a trap set by the government. Because I don't care what no one says, the government is the biggest drug dealer. 80% of the medicine that we take today is made with cocaine, meth, crack, all that. The government has all that. The government has the largest amount of coke than anybody else. How do you think it gets smuggled into the country? There's been movies about it constantly, where these people working in the government are smuggling in drugs. There was one with Denzel Washington. I can't remember the name of it, but the guy was smuggling in cocaine in caskets for fallen veterans. You know how messed up you got to be as a person to take a person that fought for this country and you put drugs in their casket, you know how messed up you got to be to do that? And that's our history that most people don't see. Most people think, you know, because no one in the hood has a plane to go pick up drugs. No one. That's rich people. That's why most rich people do drugs, because they can afford it and they're the ones shipping it in. Crazy to think about, right? But when you start to look at it and you really hearing what I'm saying, it will start to make sense on a lot of stuff going on. And it's crazy. But I'm going to split this video into two pieces because this is a very big topic, and, you know, my phone kind of sucks because I can't afford to get a new one. Dropped it too many times and all that, you know. But, yeah, that's just the first part, man. Now, I just want y'all to stay awake. Keep your third eye open. People always say keep your third eye open and have your third eye. Most people don't realize they're not talking about, you know what I'm saying, having an actual eye on your head like Doctor Strange. Because it's comic books, not real life. A little comedy for you. Help lighten the topic a little bit. But third eye refers to being able to see things going on in society that are not said in public. AKA classism, gentrification, oppression, mental disease. Keep your eyes open, people. I'm going to do this next one here. And I'll post them both together. But yeah, please click like and subscribe to the channel if you are feeling this topic. You know, shout out to the Filipino people for inspiring me to make this, man. Like I said, I don't really do this whole technology thing, but I figured, you know, if I'm going to be at home all day, I might as well do something to help better the world. So I hope y'all have a good day. You know, that was just the first part of it, just understanding the history of what happened before American history, because American history of how we actually applied all this stuff we learned from slavery and just making the empire that we built, man, I'm telling you, it gets even crazier. But like and subscribe to this page, and if you haven't heard my music, KB Production, you know, check me out on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, music. Or just like the videos and watch those if you like them. Because I'll preview on this next video that I make about this. I'll preview the song I wrote about this topic. The most recent song. But I hope you have a good day. You know, keep the faith. You know, keep moving forward, people.